Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to a brand new episode of AI and You, Smart Tech, Smarter You. I'm your host, Batrisyia Afrina. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for tuning to us wherever you are. Either you are tuning to this radio or even through our social media pages, Facebook and also YouTube. And Alhamdulillah, AI and You is back for its second season. And inshallah, throughout this season of AI and You, we aim to bring you on an insightful journey to better understand about artificial intelligence, its growing role in our daily life, and also how can it benefit the ummah and also for the society. And alhamdulillah, throughout this season of AI and You also, I will not be hosting alone. I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Shaikh Saifuddeen bin Muhammad Saleh, who is the Director of Research for the Research Management Unit, RMU, at the Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IK. Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you, Doctor?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm also doing good. Alhamdulillah, Doctor.
And today we are actually in a new setting.
Yeah, so it's different from our usual setting,
That's right.
mashallah.
We are at the Industrial IoT Lab of Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, Cairo.
Yes.
Who's also our collaborator in producing this program. And I think at this juncture, we should also record our appreciation to Cairo for their cooperation in making this program a reality.
Indeed. And for those who are tuning in through our Facebook and also YouTube, you can see the setting for our recording for today. Our theme for today, Doctor, is more industrial compared to previous setting where it's more focused on the robotic, mashallah. So it shows how advanced these technologies and also the variety of things that we can explore. We talk about the advancements of technology. And mashallah, to go forward into the conversation for today's, mashallah, the topic for today is cultivating responsible and safe AI. So to talk about it, we are honored to be joined by Professor Engineer Dr. Hazlina Selamat, who is the Acting Director at the Robotic and Artificial Intelligence Institute, RAII, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, UTM. We welcome. Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
How are you, Prof?
I'm very fine, thank you.
MashaAllah, Prof. Thank you very much for joining us in sharing, inshallah, insightful sharing for today with our listeners in our today's conversation, Prof.
Thank you for having me.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for flying all the way from Johor Bahru
No
to
problem.
Kuala Lumpur.
My pleasure.
Okay, Prof, I think let me start our discussion by asking the first question. A few years back, way back in 2018, before people start talking about AI because of ChatGPT, I remember attending a roundtable discussion where we talk about the need for ethics for AI. And one of the interesting thing that I gathered from that discussion is that some people, especially technologists, they view that we should let the technology to be developed first, then only we talk about ethics. And this brings me to my first question to you, Prof. Today we talk a lot about responsible AI, ethical AI, and also safe AI. So why do we need to actually cultivate these into the society so that AI can be used in a responsible manner and also in a safe manner?
Thank you, Dr. Shaikh, for the questions. So we all know that AI is it's an amazing technology, and I think it's probably one of humans' greatest inventions. It is being deployed at scale. Everybody has access to AI nowadays, and as a consequence, millions of people are directly affected by this technology. We also know that AI can adapt, it can evolve in ways that even the developers cannot explain. And the modern AI that we have now has this, what we call language mastery. So language, as you know it, is a very powerful tool to influence people, to motivate, to inspire, but it is also a powerful weapon to manipulate, to control. So, and I think these are part of the reasons why AI raise a lot of ethical questions, and responsible AI, ethical AI have been discussed in many avenues and platforms, either locally or globally, and so if you and I think responsible AI has traditionally been looked at from the perspective of the AI system itself, like how does AI systems behave? So we look at it from the perspective of bias, privacy, accountability, safety, and all this. But I think now the discussions about responsible AI has started to shift to what should the user do? Like, how can people or users be more responsible? Because at certain stage, there are a lot of like technical solutions to making AI more responsible. And I think now it falls back to us, the humans, in responsibly using AI, and cultivating responsible use of AI has become more and more important. And these discussions has become richer, I think, because of people's access to this technology, as well as the technology has become, much more complicated and sophisticated. So, in my opinions, how to cultivate responsible AI, for me, it is about creating a conditions that enable society to develop, deploy, and use AI responsibly. So we need to create that environment, okay, a conducive environment for this to happen. And I can think of a couple of things that we can do. One is maybe AI literacy. Okay, responsible AI starts by human or users understanding what is the technology, what it can do, like what it cannot do, the limitations, and who can use it, like to what limit, okay? Is it accurate enough? And if it's not, what should we do? How does it affect our human, what we call human agency, like human capability to think and decide independently? So AI literacy among AI users is like the foundations towards responsible AI. And there are also things like users must be able to critically question AI systems, not just believing in them. We have to understand that AI has no common sense.
Yes.
It doesn't understand anything. It's like, so it only predict things based on some statistical patterns that it sees in data that people use to train the model. So it's very important for us to question what AI gives us, and as a country and as an organizations, we must have we must increase our capability in not just governing, but also in assessing the AI system, like conduct like audits maybe, and start to see what are the evidence of the performance of the AI systems. And I think finally, I would say it's encouraging participations from the public, encouraging people to give their feedbacks, to give inputs on how AI should be shaped, should be managed, as well as should be deployed, so that it, at the end of the day, it's responsible AI is not only about, responsible systems, but also responsible users.
Ensures the relationship and how we should use the artificial intelligence, the powerful AI itself. And talking about that, let's talk about the development of AI, as now it is much driven by large companies and also individuals with enormous financial and computing resources. As we know, great tools, great resources. And at the same time, we are seeing growing role among the public, where they criticize of the billionaires who are rich from the AI, and also we talk about the capitalism in the AI ecosystem. So Prof, should we be concerned that AI may ultimately benefit those who already hold the most power and also wealth?
Yeah. I mean, the short answer would be yes. We have to be concerned about the power of AI being in the hands of very few people. It's interesting to know that 12 people in the world has the wealth of more than 4 billion people in the world.
Only 12 people.
12 people in the world holds more wealth than 4 billion people in the world. So we have like 8.3 billion populations. So they are really, really rich. And about nine of these 12 people are heavily involved in AI businesses. So from AI infrastructures, AI chips, AI cloud platform services, and they have stakes in some of the frontier model companies. And so, yes, we can see that depending on like how much control you have, what are the layers of technologies? We call it stacks, like stacks of technologies, from AI accelerators to cloud service provider to applications of AI. So the more levers that you have, the more control you have. The more control means more power. So generally, I can say that there are 4 key levers that these people hold. Okay, and some companies hold more than other companies. Well, the first one is what we call accelerator chips. You know, the key, the foundation building blocks of AI system. You control this. Without this, you cannot do anything. Okay, so companies like NVIDIA, maybe Google, they have like their tensor processing unit. It's not as huge as NVIDIA's GPU businesses, but it is there, and maybe it's going to expand in the future. So accelerator chips. Number 2 is probably if they have a big hold on cloud infrastructure and services. And companies like Alphabet, which is a parent company of Google and Microsoft and Amazon. These 3 companies hold like 63% of global cloud capacity. And of course, companies that develop large language models like OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta, and and also if you have like strong customer or distribution base. Companies like Google, they have their search engine. People have used it like for a long time. So they have like real customers, and it's easy for them to distribute their AI products. Of course, Meta through their social media platforms, and Microsoft, of course, Microsoft 365, Copilot, everything. Like we have been using, we cannot not use it, to a certain extent. So they've got like real customer base. And if you are controlling this, then you probably have more power in determining the directions of AI technologies, like who can have access to certain technologies.
Yes.
And I think that is something that we have to be mindful about. Of course, there are companies from China, very strong. I mean, China ecosystem is slightly different because their company, they like big corporations in China have like some companies have like they cover the whole AI stacks, like from chips down to distributions. But I think because of the geopolitical situations and all that, their influence to the rest of the world is quite limited compared to these like American companies. So yes, it is very important. Like if you have a lot of money, if you're extremely rich, what do you do with your money? Especially when your wealth are not particularly taxed. Okay, so you would buy land and assets, buildings. You can even buy people. So it is dangerous.
It is. And if you see there are a lot of reports on the news about the potential, you can see people are doing investments on AI. And these are the things that a lot of money actually coming in, and you see a lot of investments, for example, in the open AI, billions involved, not just billions, if I'm not mistaken, last month when I read it, it involved trillions of dollars. So the amount of investment, a lot of people that can, receive wealth throughout this money, mashallah, a lot actually. And these are the things, even for us ordinary people, if you think that, if I will even myself to reflect on myself, that should I be concerned about it? It is something that we as a normal person, normal people should be concerned about, because it also will involve indirectly, it will eventually involve affecting us. And there is something, I think, part of the mission of this program of AI, and giving you the awareness about the technology and also the ecosystem of this advanced technology itself. MashaAllah, we have a lot to cover in this conversation, MashaAllah, but we go for a short break first. And to our listeners, don't go anywhere, stay tuned. Welcome back to AI and You, Smart Tech, Smarter You. AI and You is in collaboration with the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, Cairo, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, UTM. In this episode of AI and You, we are in the conversation of cultivating responsible and safe AI with Professor Engineer Dr. Hazlina Selamat, who is the Acting Director at the Robotic and Artificial Intelligence Institute, RAII, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, UTM. So before we went for a break just now, we listened to sharing from Prof. Hazlina in regarding about responsible AI, and she also shared with us about whether should we be concerned that AI may ultimately benefit those who already hold the most power and also wealth.
Right, picking up on the question before we took a break, from what we heard, AI seems to be concentrated on the elite minority, so to speak. And yet, we know that AI should actually serve the majority. And we have seen that actually AI systems are designed to perform well for the majority of users. However, we do have the minority groups, those who come from less represented languages, and then people with disabilities, rural communities who have limited infrastructure for AI, and also populations that are underrepresented. So when it comes to responsible AI, how far do we actually go to protect and serve these minority groups?
I think, thank you, Doctor. I think the questions that people start to highlight nowadays regarding the use of AIs, whether underserved community will be catered for or not, is the inequality gaps that are widening. And AI or whatever technology is supposed to close the gap rather than widening it. And that is why we have to ask ourselves, who will benefit from AI? And this becomes, the inclusion and responsible use of AI becomes like the ultimate test on whether this AI system is genuinely responsible. And again, I highlighted the shifts when we discuss a responsible AI. So from the principles of responsible AI, fairness and all that, how do we turn it into how to make it practical, how to make it real?
Yes.
Okay, and so many of the responsible AI discussions before focuses on AI algorithms, like how we make it better, how we make it less biased and all that. But I think fairness should also be looked at from the perspective of access. Okay, fairness in accessing AI, as well as fairness in participation. So if we look at the first one, which is fairness in access, we have to look at who can actually use AI. Will this AI system be affordable
Yes.
to micro entrepreneurs? Okay, small business owners, women entrepreneurs. What are the safety guards when they are interacting with AI systems? And will it cater for people who are in the rural areas, who have all these existing limitations? And so one is fairness in access. It's not only fairness in whether the hiring algorithm would prefer men over women. It's not just that. It's about whether people, like most people, can access them or not. And number two is fairness in participations. I think it is very important to get public feedbacks on whatever AI systems that we are deploying, especially when those which are deployed at scale, like started to affect everyone, and whose values does this model represent? So I think talking about fairness, it must also reflect human values and which group of people or which group of society are we looking at. Suppose that an AI model is fair, an AI model is unbiased, it preserves data privacy, it is also secured, it's accountable, it's explainable and all that.
Yes.
But if these AI systems can only be in, like, if it's only in English, or it can only be used by people like wealthy companies, or it can be used by the people or countries where they have, like, amazing digital infrastructures. So can we call responsible AI? So there are more questions start to come up when we talk about responsible AI, and the horizon is becoming like bigger and bigger. Yeah.
And talking about AI in helping the human itself, it's important that it should be inclusive. And as you mentioned about but the fairness and also the unbiased. And you also mentioned talking about the value that the model represents. And talking about that, you talk about the ethics. If you see on the news today, there are reports about the major tech companies or high-profile companies that face wrongful death lawsuits after their AI chatbot allegedly encouraged or validated or even directed its users to commit a certain act. And we can see there are reports even started as the starting of the AI chatbot advancement we have nowadays. There are reports say that about the mass casualty attack. Some even say that they were encouraged to end their users' lives. So all of these are very concerning. So this raises the questions about AI ethics. Who decide what is right and what is wrong? So when we talk about it, one difficult question is who actually decides what is right or wrong for AI, as whether should it be the technology companies, the governments, or researchers, or even the society itself, or perhaps all of them together?
AI ethics should not be defined by any specific person or specific country or specific company. So it has to be corporations, okay, corporations or collectively agree, like a group of people, group of countries, group of companies should govern AI like collectively. So of course there are some foundational principles on how AI should be governed. And this has to be done, of course, through regulations, laws, democratic processes, feedbacks, considering cultural values, religious values. So in some countries, different countries would have different priorities in terms of the values that they want to uphold. For example, like the European Union, they are very concerned about privacy, like human rights.
Yes.
And Japan's, maybe they are into human-centric AI systems, respect. So these are values that they want to protect. China, social stability, security. So of course, Malaysia, we are. Our scenario is very interesting. We are multicultural
Multi-religious.
country, multi-religious. We have people speaking different languages, and so the values that we have, vary. Okay, and so it requires specific approaches, and we have to consider. And when we ask, like, does this, what is the, we cannot just ask things like, is this AI system ethical? We should further ask, like, is this AI system ethical for which group of people, which group of society? So it's a very important question, and I think for me, being responsible AI will involve several things that we Malaysians have to do. For example, one, we have to treat responsible AI as a national capability. We have to really strengthen our capability in ensuring that the systems that we use is responsible, and we are using them responsibly. So Malaysian institutions and people must be able to ask questions, critically ask questions. We must be able to assess AI systems.
Yes.
Okay. We must be able to question AI vendors. We must be able to test AI performance, the performance of AI systems. So even though we probably do not develop the frontier models ourselves, but it is very important to have the capability of testing, of auditing, of investigating complaints from users. So this capability must be built and established in Malaysia. Generally we are AI adopters or AI users, but we have to be like a smart AI users. Look at what we have. And I think even though we cannot control how foreign models are trained, we can control which system we purchase and which system we permit to be used in this country, especially for public use. And another thing is that we have to make sure that we have audit rights, we have access to performance evidence, and I think this is our strongest point. Okay, how to control AI. And every major public sector procurement must ask vendors to disclose key information about the systems before we actually buy and use them.
Yes.
Where data is processed, where they are stored. So every level of societies must be like AI literate. So we have to build that capability in ensuring, as you said, that it really aligned with our ethical values.
I think you make quite a number of important points there. One is that when we talk about ethics and responsible AI, it's very much, it involves a lot of stakeholders, not just one party. And then number two, ethics must be contextualized according to specific nation's needs. And of course, the third part is capabilities, building capabilities. Now, now that we have a lot of AI tools in the market, people are using these tools and people can produce contents easily, writing articles, creating images, videos. I've even seen short movies being produced using AI. So much so that people have come up with this term, AI slop. So we have large values of shallow, unchecked, and even inaccurate AI-generated content. So is this actually a threat to our culture? Is it a threat to creativity? What's your view on this, Prof?
Yeah, yes, definitely. It's not just a threat to creativity, which is a direct consequence of AI generated contents, but it also a threat to the knowledge system and professional expertise that we have built over the years. I think that is something that we have to really take care of. I just want to share with you the way Cairo conducts its training programs. Okay, I think so far we have conducted about like 150 over AI training programs. Our objective of AI literacy is very clear. We want AI to be used by people, and this knowledge, this AI knowledge, would be something that would enhance their productivity and their capability in whatever professions they're in. We want our engineers to have AI knowledge. We want our accountants to have AI knowledge. We want our scientists, we want our clerks, teachers to have AI knowledge, so AI knowledge can actually help them enhance their professions or the way they do their work. So which means that we, despite just training AI literacy, we strongly believe that fundamentals, knowledge of specific professions or specific areas of expertise remains important and relevant. AI enhances capability in your professions, but so we do not believe in, for example, merely prompting AI system to get high quality products. Things that comes easily, that has been produced easily, massive amount of content using just AI prompts, for me would generally be low quality products. So it is important that you have your matter, your substance, okay, before using AI. And I think this is a challenge for younger generations. For us, for my generations, we didn't have AI, this kind of AI before. So we learn already. So we have this, whatever knowledge that we have. And when we use AI, we're very critical about the outputs that it gives. But for people who grow up, with large language models, platforms, chatbots and all that.
The AI natives.
Yeah, these AI natives, they would feel that, and it really takes away our critical thinking, our creativity, because it's easier. But if you're an expert in certain fields, you would detect that most of the discussions, for example, I'm a lecturer, students submit their assignments, you can easily detect how shallow that discussion is. So, and we don't want to be, we don't want to have a generations that do not have like deep scientific knowledge or whatever knowledge they have, and relying on AI to produce a lot of things. And yes, AI slops is something that we have to take care of, especially what will happen in the long run. And if you have heard of this, what we call, there's a new business called AI cleanup. So you know that a lot of people are now using AI to develop, to write programs,
Yes.
okay, to develop software, to develop apps. So so some companies have called this AI cleanup, I just call it AI cleanup, consultancy companies, to sort of like, and this is more than debug their programs, okay, because there is no way that the programs can be deployed at scale using prompt engineering to come up with an apps. I mean, you can use vibe coding to prototype, okay? Prototyping, fine, okay? Demonstration unit, fine. But if you want to scale to offer your software products outside, then you definitely need a proper software developers who have gone through, computer science degree program or something like that, to actually produce this product. So many people are starting to see that the quality of products produced using these shortcut methods are really causing them problems at a later stage.
And as the society become more heavily reliant on AI, I think this is a such important topic to discuss. As we can see nowadays, that it's very easy to produce something in image. Even now, you can see. I believe this is something you also observe among your students. The challenges of students making reports just using AI. When before this, even if I were to reflect on myself when I was studying for a report, usually we take around 2 to 3 nights at the very least. But now this can be done instantly in just under than 1 minute. And talking about that, I think this is a very beautiful way to wrap up our today's conversation as we go into our final conversation. As we spend a lot of time talking about how to make AI safer, more fair, or more responsible, I think ultimately we have to know that human is the one who decide how AI is used. So is the bigger picture or the bigger challenge, therefore, it's not simply about building more responsible AI, but actually it's more onto building a society that mature enough to use AI responsibly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I totally agree with the conclusions that you have made. Yes, it's now that AI is everywhere, and we can't really control them, you know.
No.
We have no capacity whatsoever to do that, but we can control how it is used. And even though maybe we consider ourselves like, small group of people, but things always start small. We should always start small. Like for example, in our research group, we start to encourage all the researchers to, whenever we develop or doing research or do whatever software development, we start asking them to practice, some of the like best practices from other research. We make sure that we only use our AI systems. When we train our AI systems, our AI model, we make sure that we only train with data that we can document. So we practice data set documentation. For example, like a data sheet for data set. Like electronic components, they always come with data sheets. So we know the operating behaviors, like limitations, what it can do, what it cannot do. So same for data set. Okay, so that in the future, if people want to use a system, they know what kind of data is being used to train their data set. Every data set must be accompanied by a data sheet that actually describes the use of data, and what kind of data, how you actually gathered them, all the pre-processing. So this document. And when we develop AI model, we always accompany our model with what we call model cards. Model card is like a document that describes what the model is about, what is its primary intended use, what it cannot do, what are the limitations. So this would provide societies, users, with better understanding, as well as, I think it would increase people's trust in AI. So like, it's not that we cannot trust AI at all, but we can trust certain AI systems because these systems can be trusted and can actually help you in doing your work, become more efficient and all that. Yeah.
Indeed, a lot of benefits can be gained through this powerful
Yes. Don't ever forget the benefits that AI brings.
Mashallah. So I think it has been for a few times mentioned in this program of AI, and it's not for we take over our job. It's actually is to help us, and I think align with our team for today's for this seasons actually of AI and you are smart tech smarter in helping you in making smarter decisions, more smarter decision in a lot of things in your life. And as we are reaching the end of this conversation, I think today's conversation reminds us that responsible AI is not only about making the mission safer, but it is also about making the people, the organizations, and also society more thoughtful about how AI is used. And as AI becomes easier to access and also become more influential, our responsibility does not disappear. It becomes even greater, and the future of safe AI will depend not only on better technology, but also on our better judgment, our stronger values, and a culture that is willing to remain accountable for the decisions that we make with this. So with that being said, we would like to thank Professor Engineer Dr. Hazlina Selamat for her insight on today's conversation, cultivating responsible and safe AI. And for our listeners, thank you also for tuning to us today. If you have any questions, would like to share your thoughts on today's conversation, you can leave it on the comment section of this posting on our Facebook and also through our YouTube. So with that being said, thank you very much, Prof, for your sharing on today's conversation. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
And to our listeners, thank you also for tuning to us today. AI and You is brought to you by the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, Cairo University Technology, Malaysia, UTM. I'm Batrisyia Afrina.
And I'm Shaikh Muhammad Saifuddeen bin Shaikh Muhammad Saleh.
Till we meet again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi